All right, welcome everyone. We're back again with the Good Brothers podcast. As I mentioned last week, we got a special guest, unfamiliar but familiar, Uncle Neely. Uncle
Hey,
Neely
it's
here.
like 3636 Mafia album, the most unknown knowns.
Yeah, right.
Most known unknowns. Yeah.
Right.
That was a banging album.
Yeah, Uncle Neely here, better known as C. Darryl Neely, of Thee Pregame Show, here in the shop enjoying another Good Brothers podcast. Today we had you in town. We're going to talk a little bit about the transport portal. I let everybody know last week that you'll be here to talk about some things.
Yeah.
And since this has kind of been the topic online and things like that lately, I thought you would be a good person to have to speak about it. Because one thing I found out, I will start with this. One thing I found out is that during this time, with the internet and everything like that, people who are college basketball fans never understood the business of college football. I said basketball, the business of college football. And I thought this is a good opportunity. Let's talk what's real, what might need to change, or what direction we might be looking in as, people who are involved in the sport or like the sport, and have young people coming behind us that look for us for advice and how to handle certain things when it comes to the transfer portal, that is.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of ways to attack it.
Right.
Let me start 30,000 foot.
Right.
I'm all for it.
Oh, without a doubt.
I'm all for freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for student athletes. If we're going to emphasize the student portion,
Right.
student athletes should be treated just like students. Students get to transfer
Sure.
without there being punitive measures to it. So if I'm at Mississippi State majoring in chemistry and I want to transfer to Alcorn and major in ag, you just work out the hours that are going to transfer. There's no you can't do that. So I'm all for it.
Right.
I'm all for the transfer portal. Now, having said that, because it is so new,
Right.
and we're discovering problems along the way,
Right.
I know in the months, years to come, there are going to be changes to it.
Right.
Because right now what you have is a system of, all right, we're going to see how this works, and then there's going to be some enhancements to it, or some things that are clawbacks on it. But in the overall spirit of it, I'm all for college students getting to choose. Now, what happens is fans get involved. And when somebody leaves you ridicule them and criticize them and
Take
say,
it personal.
yeah, they just couldn't tough it out. The transfer portal, they ain't teaching people how to be men, teaching them how to be quitters. But then when you get somebody to come to you, you all for the portal then.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you something I've thought about. Remember one and done in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
People complained about it when they would say, well, hey, you high school, if you want to go pro, you go pro. I have no problem with that. Just like same thing, I have no problem with transfer portal. But we only talk about the guys that transfer to big schools that we see and we know.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the guys that don't find nowhere to go.
Sure.
Same thing with the one and done rule of the NBA. I was all for it. A lot of people was like, no, kids should be able to go pro. And I'm like, you know how many kids would try to go pro and lose their college eligibility? Now, if you had it where you could jump into the league and you still got an opportunity to go back to the school and stuff like that, oh, well then have at it. But that's why I think the transfer portal gonna have to, it's gonna make a few changes that some of these guys that believe they're better than they are, and they're jumping around from school to school because you only get one transfer through the portal.
It ultimately be two after COVID.
Yeah. You see, all that's still great, and but back to what the point I was trying to make is, we hear the success stories of guys moving to places where they get seen and stuff like that, but we don't hear about the guys that I'm tired of this, I'm gonna jump in the portal and don't really, time run out, scholarships run out, and then they don't find nowhere to go. Now, in saying that though, that could be a boom for AA teams, HBCUs, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But overall, you got a lot of guys get left out there to win.
Let me tell you this, though. It's not my concern.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Yeah,
I
it should
hear
be.
you, and that happens, and that happens to the super majority.
Right.
Most people are left in the portal.
Right.
But again, it's freedom of choice.
Right.
I am allowed to make a choice that I may think is in my best interest that doesn't pan out to be in my best interest. But it was my choice.
That's true.
And we have a system where, because of what we want as fans, we try to rob young people their choices. Oh, look at him, he's going to be stuck in the portal, nothing going to happen. Well,
yeah, I see where you're going with
nothing
that.
was going to happen where he was. look how many people who are 35, 45, 55 that should have been quit that job.
Right.
But they didn't want to hop in the employment transfer portal. They just want to stay at that job,
Right.
where it's safe or whatever. Sometimes, man, you got to take risks. And again, I'm just pro freedom of choice in the portals. Like if these guys or girls for the women athletics Title IX, if they decide that their talents, their culture, their likes, their dislikes, whatever it is that's motivating them to transfer will be better somewhere else, man, God bless them. Even if it doesn't work out.
They made the choice and they should be
Even if
yeah.
it doesn't work out,
Right,
man, Press,
right.
you're an entrepreneur. How many things have you done that didn't work out like you thought it was?
Yeah,
But
the
you're not
money
gonna
go down.
You're not going to become anti-entrepreneur.
No.
Just 'cause it didn't work.
Because you learn lessons,
Yeah.
and half the time, shit, you enjoy it. you enjoy it.
And I say go
So,
for it, man.
But another aspect of it is, we saw the list. Colorado was 56, Ole Miss was 33, and so down. I'm gonna put Colorado aside because I don't even understand why people don't understand this. This is a 1-11 team.
No, we're going to put it aside long.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-11 team. You got to flip that roster. There ain't no, that. But when you're a school like Ole Miss with 33 in this is Lane third year,
Should be, yeah.
third year, 33. From a coach's standpoint, how do you look at that? Or some of them guys, it might have been you helped get into the transfer portal. I don't know. So yeah, but how do you look at that? That's about a third of your roster. Which you don't know if these guys are playing or not. So.
But here's what we do know. It was 33 of them.
Right.
Here's what we do know. College football, as long as they got a scoreboard,
Right.
winning matters.
Big time.
And you have to win in years, right? I mean, you can't, it's like, we won this year, now I can lose a couple. No, you got to win this year.
You don't have to.
And just because this roster worked this year doesn't mean that's next year's roster. And so when I see an Ole Miss with 33, I don't see any different than Colorado with 50 plus. We're trying to do what it takes to win this year.
Right.
And some of those guys may not be able to help me this year because I'm looking around in my conference and seeing what moves they made. I got to win. And it's almost like the portal for me is free agency in college.
That's exactly
in
what
NFL.
it is. Exactly.
And then scholarships are the salary cap.
Right.
And so you have to okay, I got this number of scholarships. I got this number of guys going out, this number of guys coming in. And you look at what Coach Prime is doing in Colorado, he's even conserving some of those scholarships because you don't know what's going to develop across the summer. And you don't know who's going to pan out and then stage for next spring and beyond. So you even keep some scholarships in your pocket.
Right.
Because and that's the one thing that people, when they look at the transfer portal, that needs, a delineation does need to start. They count the total swath.
Yeah.
Man, some of them guys are walk-ons.
Yeah, that's why I'm about to say you didn't know if they hit the field or something like that.
So you see 51 leave, but then you go and look at their impact,
Right.
their playing time, their production when they played,
Right.
and then you see that it's addition via subtraction. But everybody, looks at, like I said before, man, the fan bases, and I don't care what school it is. You celebrate when the guy comes, you all for the portal.
Right.
But when the guy leaves, something wrong. What's going on, man?
It's funny you say that.
We lost another one today. Something must be going wrong.
It's funny you say that because one of the guys in Colorado, I know he got on Twitter complaining he couldn't get his practice tape. I said, man, what about your game field? Now, he must didn't play.
Wait. Let's rewind a second. And best wishes to that kid.
Yeah, definitely that.
If I knew his name, I would say his name. I just don't recall it. He was asking for practice tape from before Prime was hired.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even Prime's practice tape.
Right.
And then, like you said, what did you do in practice that you need to convince another coach to take you? Shouldn't you be looking for game film?
Game film. That's what you want to look for, game film.
So I don't know what you did in practice that day to make you think no, if I show this to Coach ABC, they'll want me.
Yeah.
Versus showing my game productivity or my stats. Then here's the other thing. I don't care if you're Colorado, Ole Miss, or whoever is in this list of people with the highest number. The portal is still buyer beware. So
without a doubt.
It's a used car.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I love about Coach Prime's approach to it is he does extensive talks with those guys that want to come play for him.
See where they at.
Why are you in the portal?
Yeah, why you leave?
What made you get in the portal? Good, bad, ugly, no matter what it is, and what makes you think that same thing won't be here? Then he asked, look, the even deeper questions. Name me something in your life that you give 100% effort to outside of football. Because I want to know what you dedicated to. I want to know what you like. Because just because a guy is an all-world defensive end leaving this school doesn't mean he fits organizationally on your roster, even though you like his metrics.
Right.
And so it ain't just like, oh man, such and so in the portal, somebody go pick him up. These guys have to mesh into a game plan, have to mesh into an organization, to a locker room, and have to be a good fit.
Yeah. No, that's without a doubt. You know, look, you know I'm for the portal, especially what Kim Mulkey doing down there at LSU. So.
Oh, man, look, that's what y'all need to be talking about.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my God.
Look, they didn't just built a monster just in like 3 days.
Yeah, it's
you know, got the girl from
man.
DePaul, Haley Van Lith. You got Angel Reese coming back.
Yeah.
You know, you got Floji Johnson coming back.
It's unreal, man.
Oh man. So I mean, you know,
but let me tell you this about the portal now. If you want to talk about a downside, and let me say, I'm just choosing that word.
Right.
Ain't no downside in it.
Right.
But if you want to talk about downside,
Right.
the impact that the portal is having on college juniors. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. The impact that the portal that is having on high school juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
That's what you need to talk about.
Yeah.
Because
they
once upon a time, when you were the top 5 point guard coming out of high school,
Right.
you were the top 5 point guard. Right. Well, now when you're the top 5 point guard coming out of high school, and then you have 50 point guards with college experience in the portal, you ain't top 5 no more.
No, you're not. Yeah.
And so when these scholarships start getting offered, you know, in your junior year and your senior year, you might want to look at taking them. Because that same offer might not be there in 12 months, 6 months, 18 months.
Especially what you said earlier, with if coaches got to win now, you know, look, a great high school, unless you that top 1% high school kid, I'm gonna take a kid with 2 years experience playing in a big conference, and I'm gonna take him before I, go down there.
But there's the opportunity outside of the Power Fives, the mid majors and HBCUs.
Right.
That's where their opportunity is.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have guys coming out of high school that are not going to be able to stick at some of these Power Fives or get offers like they once would have, because the Power Fives are going to be focused on milking their portal. But now you can go to a HBCU, get your weight up, your name up, your stats up. And it's almost like here in Mississippi, for whatever reasons, the HBCUs would ignore the JUCOs historically.
Right.
So a kid would leave Mendenhall, go to Colin, and then go to Alabama Auburn.
Right.
When he could have just gone from Mendenhall to Jackson State or Mendenhall to Alcorn.
Right.
You know, but the HBCUs or mid-majors didn't want the kid. Go the JUCO route. Develop and ball out at Colin or Northwest. Next thing you know, all the Power Fives want him, and then he goes there.
Right. Yeah. Speak going back to the high school kid and the kid that's, a junior somewhere. One of the things I thought with the transfer portal first hit, I said, what you're going to see now is those 4- and 5-star guys who go Power 5, end up on special teams, do that for 2 years, and he thinks, hey, man, I got to get on the field somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when I think, so the recruiting process don't stop now.
Oh, no.
So the recruiting process now, even when you got, because even like we talked about Kim Mulkey, that I knew Haley Van Lee had a shot at LSU.
Wait, time out, Chris. Time out. It's a little deeper than that. The recruiting process does not stop. Externally or internally, you have to re-recruit your current team.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So like,
you want to use
Mulkey as an example, LSU. She got to sit down with Reese and convince her to stay.
Yeah.
Because you can go do the same thing somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you have to re-recruit who you want inside, and then re-recruit who you want from the outside.
Yeah.
But it is a 24/7, 365 process now because of competition benefits the consumer, economic principle, and now there's so much competition out there in the portal.
What's the timeline? I forgot what the timeline is.
Oh man, don't make me laugh. If I
I'm
could Google it real quick, I'd show you. There are windows to it.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about is, like, since we were talking about LSU basketball for women's basketball, when, Haley Van Lee jumped into the portal, the first thing I said was, oh man, she got a shot coming to LSU. I think I was sitting there telling John and that. We were talking about it, and I was like,
she jumped in the portal because she was already going to LSU.
Oh yeah, because you saw what she said. Yeah. Nobody contact me.
Yeah, like when people go to the portal, like they got to show.
Oh yeah,
they got to show.
Well, but I brought it up. The reason I brought it up is because When she decided to go to Louisville, it was Louisville and Baylor. Mulkey was recruiting at
Exactly,
Baylor.
yeah.
So like, go back to what you were saying, it's true. You keep in those relationships with family and friends and things like that.
Yeah, man, you know, once upon a time, people chose colleges for the college.
Wow.
Past 20 years, and then with a tremendous spike the last 5 years, man, kids are choosing the coach to play for. You know, Denny Crum ain't in Louisville no more.
Right.
You know, so like the mystique of playing at Louisville men's basketball, you know, with Crum or Patino is like different. Like you and I grew up with a affinity for a particular university.
Right.
Like if you basketball, it didn't matter who was coaching UNC.
Right.
It didn't matter who coaching IU. Well, now, man,
You
with
was-
coaches,
you about
you
with
want
the names on front of that jersey.
guy.
Yeah.
I want that guy to build me. And that's one of the things, like with Coach Prime, he's like, you got guys, particularly out of Florida boys, guys at Florida State, high school in Florida, they want to play for Deion Sanders.
Wow.
Deion Sanders in Colorado. You know, the guys who were at Jackson State with him and hit the portal, they were going with him. So it's not necessarily a Colorado thing, it's a head coach thing.
Right.
And Mulkey was able to like, hey, let me get her.
Yeah.
You see what I did?
Yeah.
Help me do it again.
Yeah. And I figured she wouldn't get a chance. She didn't get a chance to that. Yeah, we got a chance to see that with, you know, it was just what she brought to you. You know, listen, it's unspoken that she got it in her second year, which was great.
Yeah.
You know, with women basketball, LSU being big, she's gonna have to maintain that. But I look at a guy like Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson with baseball. Jay Johnson been #1 all year. But that's LSU baseball. If he don't go to the World Series, this season's a failure. So when you take those jobs like that, that comes with that. So like, but see, let's go back, take that to Colorado, being that was a 1-11 team when I was talking about flipping a roster.
Yeah.
Well, LSU made it to the, got into the baseball tournament last year.
Yeah.
In fact, got to a super region.
Yeah.
You know, then they lost and they just couldn't take that next step. So with that being said, with this flip of the roster right now, how long you think that process be before you get because it's a longer process now, before you get your guys there. Because you need your guys at least play a year or two with you before you're ready to take that next step.
I think the process is the process. I think this is going to be an annual thing. I don't think you're going to have Colorado specifically. I don't think you're going to have 50 plus next year.
No, I doubt that. Yeah.
But you see, I think the answer in college football is going to be 15 to 30 every year.
Yeah.
You know, because again, if I didn't get it done, I know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Right? If I did get it done, I got to replace what's leaving.
Right.
So either way, you have a formula of what you have to do to win your conference or win the national championship.
Right.
You know, well, I got this leaving, so I got to get that.
Yeah.
You know, or Preston got this.
Right.
So it's almost like the original Batman, man. Where does he get those wonderful toys? Like, I got to get you some toys. Like, I can't compete. Like, look,
Right.
The Joker had all the henchmen.
Yeah.
He
He
had
had a wonderful toy.
Yeah,
He sure has
Wayne
said
was
that.
coming with the wonderful toys, man. You know. So these
But
guys
he did
are
have his #1 guy.
He had his #1 guy, yeah. He go through them #1 guys. Though.
right. I think he killed like 3 of them.
Oh, yeah. He got the guy #4.
And we all don't know. We talk about the original Batman,
yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Mike Keaton,
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
But yeah, man, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this all pan out. But you know, one thing I did say is that I wanted to bring this up with you too, is when it comes to some guys, it's gonna be just as important to have people around you who can tell you the truth.
Oh, absolutely.
So like, hey man, I know you was an All-American in high school. And he got you playing behind a guy you think you're better than. But do you really want to leave this program that is starting to build something with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And jump into another program where you got to start over?
Yeah, no, that you have to have, as they said in Brother Wilder, you got to have a brain trust.
Right. You got to mass communicate.
about where you at. Because the grass ain't always green.
Nah, and see, I think a lot of guys going to get caught up in that.
Let me say this. Whereas I totally agree the grass ain't always green, I'm going to always defend your choice to choose which grass you want to play on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I don't want to throw the system out because it didn't work for somebody. That's life. That's life in America.
And if you make a bad decision, you just got to live with it.
Thank you.
So I know I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
But there are some people who get in the portal that should stay where they are.
Right.
You know, but then there are a lot of times we as fans, we assume why people are in the portal.
Yeah.
Oh, he just couldn't take it. He's all, man, the dude mama might be sick. He trying to be closer to home.
Be closer to home.
You know,
Or it could be selfish. Remember Eric Gilbert for LSU? He was homesick.
You know.
Then he ended up jumping like 3 different schools.
There are some markets. There are some markets where NIL opportunities are limited, just because of where you are.
Right.
So, for instance, we're here in Mississippi, HBCUs. Let's talk about swag. You got more NIL opportunities in Jackson or in Itabena.
That's true. That's true.
So I might be second in Valley and then have to be second or third at Jackson State. But when you parlay in the number of barbershops and small businesses and television stations, you know, and social media footprint, you know, I can parlay my NIL better at this location.
Yeah, that is a big
Reese
part.
at LSU said, man, I ain't trying to go to the
Yeah,
WNBA.
right. I was just about to bring that up because you know when they on the alumni boards and stuff like that, they always put NILSU. So
Yeah,
I mean
like,
that is just
why
because I think we got
have
like
to leave?
LSU women has the 3 of the top 5.
With boys too.
Yeah, with boys. I'm talking about 3 out of the
totally
top 5. Period.
Yeah.
Because Olivia Dunn, gymnastics, Angel Reese. I think Van Fleet was like $500,000, but Flozier was like $800,000.
It's a game changer, man.
Yeah.
You have to make those kind of
big
decisions.
Yeah, and this
so it's the geographic market footprint of where that school is and where you're from, even, and all that comes into play now. So it's not just necessarily, am I going to be the number 2 running back or not, or the number 1 running back?
What other
opportunities? There are other opportunities at stake, including your degree and your path to your degree.
Well, and that's speaking of that. That's why I was talking earlier about having people in your corner. Because let's be realistic. Most of you ain't going to the professional league.
No.
So, but here's the part that people don't talk about. It is important. Jackson State. I did not go to Jackson State. You've been knowing each other since I came to Mississippi. And Jackson State became family through your family. But the relationships you build when you graduate from college, the alumni base, the business base that graduate from there, I think sometimes, even in sports, we don't sell that to athletes. Like, hey, look, man, you get your degree from here, you're part of a network that's going to try to help you succeed.
And in context, look at the love for Shiloh Sanders, who graduated from Jackson State.
Right.
You know, finished that spring semester, literally is now a member of the Jackson State Alumni Association.
Right.
You know, you don't have to read the tea leaves. Surely he's going to enter the grad school at Colorado and play there as a grad student. But he has something that he'll have forever from Jackson State.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be coming home 20 years, 50 years from now.
He's part of the family.
Yeah.
All them guys are.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, because they were there. Yeah. And you know how it is in college. Everybody don't graduate anyway.
Yeah, right,
so
right.
I went to college with you, don't mean we graduated together. So it's all love, but it's almost like being in the NBA and then being in that fraternity of people who actually have championship rings.
Right.
Like, there are events Charles Barkley can't go to.
Yeah.
Oh, Charles that dude.
Right.
The round mound, the rebound mound is a god.
Right.
But he can't go to that Champions party.
Right. Yeah, you know, Shaq and them always spoke with him about that too.
Yeah,
like,
it is what it is, man.
But it is what it is. You can't deny that.
Man, shout out to Shiloh Sanders again. Congratulations. On their graduation,
graduating. Man. Yeah. I saw he did the what you call it, across the.
Oh yeah. We had a little.
So he loved that.
Little side bet, little motivation.
Right.
I was talking to some friends of mine. Like, man, you think he'll do it? I said, ain't no way he ain't gonna do it. And then I primed the phone like, hey man, you know you gotta do it, because I bet these dudes you ain't gonna do it.
Oh, that was a good deal, man. Good deal. But look, man, it's always good to always have you in town to get on the Good Brothers Committee podcast.
Man, you know, when I'm home, I'm coming to church.
There you go. You know, I didn't get a chance to mention earlier. You know, today we spoke at the Good Brothers Cigar. That's only here at Churchill.
I'm on Insidious.
And Johnny Levi with the Noble Oak. We decided to try this out a little bit today. And
Johnny Levi, the paper champion.
Let's tell you. You remember you heard that, Johnny, the paper champion.
Backstory to folks out there. We all haven't been in the same fantasy football league, you know.
But
I'm perennial top
13
tier.
years.
Yeah, I'm perennial top tier.
Right.
Johnny Levi, new guy, fluke win one time, and now he think he got to do it multiple times.
Right.
So he had a fluke paper win one year.
Right,
you
right.
know.
Well, this year, I mean,
Yeah, this year.
it actually was the game when the Buffalo player
Yeah, the
got
Buffalo
hurt.
Bills game. Yeah.
ESPN suspended it, and I thought they wouldn't count the game, but they just cut it off right there. So, and he was leading, so he ended up winning. But the guy he was playing had 5 Bills playing.
Yeah.
So it was like, you were up, but were you really up?
In the words, I'm going to leave you this, Johnny Levi, because I know you're watching. In the words of Clubber Lang to Rocky, you just a bum fighting other bums.
Hey, look, guys, we appreciate you coming out. Remember, always like, subscribe, give us some comments below what you think about the transfer portal, where you see it going, what do you think might need to be changed in it, and let us know, and let's have this conversation about the transfer portal. As always, got my man, Uncle Neely from Thee Pregame Show, Preston Power, the Good Brothers Committee. Brother Chad still on the road. He'll be back next week.
Shout out to Chad.
As we give you the show next Friday, talking about whatever.